Alar Morgulis, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Markers and Monsters. I'm your host, as always, Colin, and today I'll be drawing my favorite character from the Game of Thrones series, and that is Arya Stark. Yes, the third daughter of the Stark family. Arya's journey in the show has been incredibly appealing to watch for me. In any other type of show or fantasy novel or series, she'd probably just be the main character. And I don't know, there's something about that kind of classic rags to riches kind of fantasy story that really appeals to me. I'm going to be talking a bit about her character here as we do the drawing, and there's not going to be any major spoilers, just more of a brief overview of what happens to the character. So if you're not caught up or anything, well, it's not going to be too spoiler heavy, so proceed at your own risk. So Arya Stark, as I said, the third daughter of the Stark family, is young. She's a tomboy. She's very interested in fighting and horseback riding and, you know, stuff like that, rather than the typical princess stuff like sewing or whatever. When she leaves early in the series, her adopted or bastard brother, Jon Snow, gives her a custom-made sword called Needle, a small sword. It's a little fencing rapier. That's the one she's holding there in the drawing. This to her is her blade, her sword. It's small like her. And later, when her father finds it in her room, instead of yelling at her, he allows her to keep it, but gets her fencing lessons from a water dancer named Syrio Florel. And this really starts her training. When everything at King's Landing, the city they're in, goes down poorly, and Arya has to flee, this starts an incredible journey for her, where she goes to many different regions of Westeros, the land where Game of Thrones is set, experiencing a lot of different hardships, a lot of interesting things, meeting a lot of very cool characters, very different characters, eventually leading her to cross the sea to a land called Braavos, where she trains in the House of Black and White to become a faceless man, an assassin, and very dangerous and deadly. When she gets back to Westeros eventually, you know, that's something that not a lot of people expect of her, to, you know, a woman that is now, a young one at that is now this incredibly dangerous individual. Like I said, that's incredibly appealing to watch and just very interesting. On the TV show, she's played by the incredibly talented Maisie Williams, who, I mean, just, man, this girl knocks it out of the park. At such a young age, too, when she started filming the series. In the books, Arya starts off as 9 years old. I don't know how old Maisie was when she started. I don't think she was quite that young, but still, very young actress, and did an incredible job with such a role. In the book series, Arya is one of the people that's in every book as a viewpoint character, really. And so it really shows how important her story is and how important she is to the series as a whole. Now, while the book series isn't done, the TV show is on its final season, so we're going to have to see what ends up happening with her character and, you know, the friends she's made along her journey and her skills and all that, but it's going to be very interesting to see. For this drawing, I decided to put Arya up at Winterfell. There's the Stark banner hanging behind her with a direwolf sigil on it. What we're going to do here is, as we're coloring it in, that background is going to kind of peter down towards an overall bluish shade. I'm going to make it look like night. Snow will be falling. Winter has come, my friends. And Arya has to deal with it. She's in kind of her season 8 outfit there with the leather, I guess that would be a tunic, and kind of the bluish bear or wolf pelt half cape behind her. I don't know what that thing is, but it's an interesting design. I wanted the face to look similar to Maisie Williams, but maybe not identical. I kind of wanted to give it almost a feel that this could be the character from the book, this could be the character from the TV show, however you want to feel with it. I wanted to give the viewer that option and not make it just a complete one for one. I gave her kind of a fighting stance. You often see her in the show with that like water dancer training. She has kind of one hand behind her back. She's a fencer. She's got this light sword out. And I definitely wanted to include the cat's paw dagger sticking out of her belt there. That's a very important item from the show in general. And the provenance of that item too is very interesting to watch. And that's one thing about the show that I do like. Is that little things that you don't think about too much come back in big ways later on. And I think that's really, really cool and a lot of fun. Here we're filling in that night sky, and then we're going to go over everything and just kind of darken it with shades of blues and grays. Kind of let Arya stand out in the forefront, though. She is the star of this picture that we're drawing, and I just wanted to let it sit like that. Don't detract from her as much. The background can kind of fade away, maybe just some little details, but that is about it. Now, for you guys who enjoy watching me put in the stars in the paint pen with the paint pen, you're in for a treat here because we're doing stars, we're doing snow on the ground. It's going to be a feast. One thing I did notice, however, with this drawing is that putting in the paint pen in large swatches on the floor actually ended up causing a problem, as when it dried it was a little too thick and cracked. I've since worked to try to rectify that, but yeah, here after letting it sit for a while it just kind of cracked up and got weird because it's acrylic paint essentially. But even still, fun stuff. Let's add a little bit of frost on there, make it look wintry, not just nighttimey. Little piles of snow here and there. There we go, some stars, and then snowflakes just kind of all over the place, also helping to pop Arya out of the picture. This was a lot of fun to do. Let's get in there and take a look at the scan, and we can check out all the various details. All right, I think it's looking pretty good, man. I had a blast doing this. I've really been enjoying watching Game of Thrones, and to think that at the time of this recording there's only 2 episodes left is both exciting and a bummer at the same time. We'll see. I'm a big fantasy fan, and the TV show especially really fits the bill for me in a lot of ways. I get to see dragons roast people and assassins and sword fights and stuff. So very cool stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it, and hey, just remember, when the god of death comes knocking, what do you say to him? Not today. That's right, my friends. We'll see you on the next one. Take care, and goodbye.